Well, good evening and welcome to Live in the Hive, the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. I'm Michelle Eagleton. I'm with you for the next half an hour, and have we got a show in store for you? So thank you for joining me this evening. If you're watching on our Live in the Hive Facebook, or you're watching on the I Love Manchester platform, that iconic city brand dedicated to community and culture. As I said, we have got a great night. We've not just got one guest, two guests, but we have got three guests filling this show. And what great guests they are. Now, we've got this man, Nigel Havers, the charmer himself. He's going to be telling me about his latest role in Private Lives, coming to the Lowry next week. And we've also got some of the cast of Jersey Boys throwing ahead to them arriving in Manchester come October this year. And if that wasn't enough, yes, I've got a real superstar in the Hive, the one, the only. Well, take a look at him. He can say it for himself.
Hi, this is Jay Osmond, and I am so excited to introduce my new musical to all of our friends there in Manchester in August at the Palace Theatre, and especially to see you all live in the Hive.
He mentioned Live in the Hive, the Osmonds, Jay Osmond. Wow. He's going to be chatting to me a little bit later on about a brand new musical that he's bringing to Manchester, and we really can't wait for that one to open. It's going to be fantastic. Plus, we've got a sneak peek of one of the songs from the show at the very end of this program, so stay tuned. But first up, I was joined earlier this week by the wonderful actor and presenter Nigel Havers, because he is back in our great city to perform, as I said, at the Lowry in a Noel Coward classic, Private Lives. And I couldn't help by starting off, how does he feel to be back in Manchester? Here's what he had to say. Well, Nigel, I think you are an adopted Mancunian stroke Salfordian, and we can't wait to have you at the Lowry with Private Lives. Are you excited to be making a return?
I am, and I love the Lowry. It's a great theatre, and I've been, as you know, probably many, many times. And I'm looking forward to my friends from Corrie coming to see the show.
How is the run going?
It's going great. We've had a great time. We've had great houses too, which is marvelous. You know, because you could imagine what it's like. We just wouldn't know how many people would turn up.
Yeah, well, I do think our northern audiences have been back in full force. So, you know, expect a crowd when you come to the Lowry, and especially with a Noel Coward classic such as
Yes.
Private Lives. I mean, this is a fantastic play that you're doing, Nigel.
It's probably one of the best comedies ever written, and you know, it's nearly 100 years old, and yet it's almost it could have been written yesterday. It's Noel Coward did a pretty good job.
He certainly did.
Makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun in there, you know, some great lines from Noel Coward.
Indeed.
And of course, yourself and Patricia Hodge are taking to the stage as the former husband and wife that end up on honeymoon next to each other with their new other halves, which... Yeah. That's got to be some kind of coincidence / mix up that just sets off the frivolity.
Absolutely. So that's how the play starts, and then the fireworks begin.
This is your inaugural performance for the Nigel Havers Theatre Company. So
indeed it is.
You're pretty much doing everything.
What the company allows me to do is to pick the play and pick the actors. So I managed to do those two things.
Amazing. So obviously Patricia must have been your first choice, right?
Indeed.
Oh.
I had to twist her arm a bit because she said, "Aren't we a bit too old to play these parts?" And I said, "Well, not really. I mean," she said, "Well, Noel Coward was 30 when he played it." I said, "Doesn't make any difference." And in fact, you know, she was worried, but no one has ever mentioned that.
Well, the thing is, I think, like you say, it can kind of translate, and actually it puts a new spin on it for people, I suppose, who have seen it in the past with younger cast members, and it kind of has a new resonance, right?
Indeed. And as a lot of the people coming to see it are our sort of age, they sort of can associate with what's going on. So it works both ways.
And are they going to see you play the piano? A little bird told me you learnt to play piano for this role, right?
I've always managed to play the piano, but I had to up my game slightly.
Ah, right. Okay, so tinkling the ivories then.
Exactly.
Oh, see, the only thing that I can play is London's Burning on the piano. I've never ever been able to play anything that great.
It's all to do with practice.
I need to. I can just imagine you behind a grand piano, though, with a nice suit on, Nigel. You're always very smart.
Actually, in this particular act, I'm wearing pajamas.
Oh, no, well, don't be telling people that. All the women are going to be flocking to see it now. Now, of course, you're here with Private Lives, and we mentioned Coronation Street before. You were fantastic as Lewis. I was absolutely gutted when he passed away. I want his twin brother to come back, because you teased a couple of years ago he might have
you
one.
should say that, because Sue Nichols kept saying, you do have a twin brother living in Australia. So I said, oh, cross, I didn't know that. I couldn't remember whether I had a brother there or not.
That would be amazing. Honestly, I think he would cause some chaos just as much as Lewis did.
I hate to think what he'd do. Oh my God.
But I mean, that's a great thing about your career, because it's kind of like spanned through so many different areas, from Chariots of Fire. I remember watching that. Don't Wait Up was a big favourite of mine as a child. I loved that series.
A child. Must have been a very young girl then.
I put on the night cream. Yeah, I watched you as Tom. Yes, I did. And then there's a new audience that have seen you in Coronation Street, and also as a presenter. I've got to say, with Sally Lindsay, you as a pair are amazing. With your posh hotels, it was just like me and my husband would sit there and go, oh yeah, oh, isn't that good? What was that like?
Oh, it was fun. She's a laugh. She really is.
I know.
It was great fun.
She's a good northern girl, like we are.
She really is.
Well, we're really looking forward to having you here in Salford.
Fantastic.
I wish it was more than a week.
Well, I mean, that's what we do. It's a week in every town. So we're on to, where we go? We go Sheffield after that.
Gosh. And what are you thinking about being on tour? Because you turned 70 last year. I can't believe you turned 70. I know I shouldn't reveal an age, but I think you look fantastic.
I can't do anything about it.
Is it better fun being on tour in your 70s?
Well, I think I don't regard myself as 70, so I feel as I did when I first toured in 1969.
Wow. Gosh, that is incredible. In 1969.
With Ian McKellen in Edward II and Richard II. I remember it very, very well.
Better digs, though, I imagine, nowadays.
Slightly better digs. It's always a bit hit and miss, but they are slightly better.
Well, you're always welcome in the Hive here in my home. If you are coming our way to Salford, and I'll even get the champagne out for you, Nigel.
Thank you so much.
There'll be no Prosecco for you.
No Prosecco for me.
Well, have a great time. We'll
Thank
see you very soon. You're here next week from the 15th to the 19th with Private Lives. Okay. Thank you so much, Nigel.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Well, you can't give Nigel Havers Prosecco, could you? You couldn't even give him a bottle of beer. So, I mean, it's Nigel Havers. Come on. What a lovely, lovely man he was. That was great to interview him just before he comes to the Lowry next week in the Noel Coward Classic Private Lives. So catch that one if you can. And something else that you should be catching is definitely the musical Jersey Boys. Now, I was really lucky enough to go on a little bit of a trip to Liverpool, so not too far away, where it's been playing at the Liverpool Empire. It's obviously a musical all about Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons of the Jersey Boys. I got to see the show, and then afterwards I caught up with a couple of the cast members to give you a lowdown on what you can expect. Hi guys, so we've got Blair and we've got Norton here. You've literally just come off stage in the Jersey Boys, and my goodness, they went wild out there.
Yeah.
You cope with that every night and matinee.
It was crazy. I mean, Liverpool has been, all the venues that we've been to have been absolutely incredible, but definitely up in the north, people just go crazy.
Yeah,
they love it.
Yeah, let's just say, you've seen Liverpool, but Manchester,
We have got the best audiences, believe you me. Yes, there will be things thrown at you. No, honestly, don't do that. But you must feel like a bit of a rock star up there because, you know, the Jersey Boys, you know, Four Seasons, Frankie Valli, they were mega back in that era. But now, it's like you're going on stage every night and get women screaming at you and men.
Well, that's what the music does. It's timeless. So, I mean, people were massive fans back then, and it still carries on to this day. Everyone still loves the music, and that's really the reason that the show is so big and successful.
And the thing is, you're not old guys, all right? So in terms of knowing the Four Seasons, you know, did you grow up with kind of maybe grandparents listening to it? Did you know them before you auditioned, Norton?
Yeah, I did. I've come from a very musical household of, we listened to everything from rock to pop to every style of music that was going really. And so all like Big Girls Don't Cry, Sherry, Walk Like a Man, even as a kid, I wouldn't have said I was a massive fan. Like it wasn't, oh, I've got to put that on, but it was like, it was those songs that you always knew at a party. Everyone got up to, oh, what a night. And yeah, it's just, I just think it's timeless music. It's music that literally people come to the show and I think they forget how many songs the Four Seasons wrote.
Yeah.
And they come to the show and go, oh my God, I know this song, but I didn't know that was the Jersey Boys, the Four Seasons. I didn't know that. And then there's songs that have now been redone, like Beggin's been done 3 or 4 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah, Beggin's back in the charts now.
I know.
And you hear people and they go, oh, this is, and it's like, yeah, this is the original.
That might have been me, because I was literally going, oh my God, I don't believe they did that one and that one, and then Bye Bye Baby, I'm knocking the person next to me, wasn't that not the Bay City Rollers? You know, 10 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, these were incredible people, weren't they? So if people haven't seen the show before, I don't know where they've been, but you know, what can they expect? Because it is quite different. There's a lot of kind of the talking and the narrative in it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, the show isn't just about the music, because the story of these 4 guys and how they came together and how they broke apart and how they're still going today is really, it's not well known at all. And there's a lot of drama in there, there's a lot of excitement, tension, and there's a really dark side to the whole story as well that people just don't expect. They come to listen to the music, but they leave learning so much more.
I know, and they did really well to get out of that hole.
Big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's something really nice about all your characters, and you know, there must be a real bond backstage because it's literally like the 4 of you that are on stage all the time. What's it like when you're going on tour in a production like this?
I think I can speak for I think all of us is that this company that we've got right now is wonderful, and the crazy thing is there's only 18 of us, and I think when people actually realise that the people that are backstage, the people that are doing 8 or 9 different characters in the show that are coming on, wig change, costume change, like aside from the 4 guys that are up front, which obviously completely driving the story, like the company supports each other in every single way without everybody, and that makes it the special show that it is because it's a true story. It's not your normal jukebox musical because the songs aren't just put in for a reason. The songs are there as the story happens.
You ask 4 guys how it happened, you get 4 different versions. But this is where all of them start. Sherry, Sherry baby, Sherry, Sherry baby. Sherry, can you come out tonight? Big girls don't cry, big girls don't cry. Walk like a man, fast as I can, and walk like a man from you. Begging, begging you.
really got me in the mood. I don't know if you were dancing around in your living room, but I'm certainly dancing around in the Hive listening to that musical. It was absolutely fantastic and a really feel-good show. So many hits, and it is coming to Manchester at the Opera House on the 18th to the 29th of October. So remember to watch out for that one. And if you are interested in what is going on in the theatre, or indeed restaurants, bars and events, well, you can't go wrong by taking a look at the website of I Love Manchester. They've got it all there. All you go to is ilovemanchester.com to find out the latest. And you can also get involved with the conversation throughout the week with me on Live in the Hive. We've got our social media there, Instagram and Twitter, Live in the Hive 21. Tell me what you think about the show, or if you've got any ideas. I would love to hear from you. But as I say, on with this show, because we've not had just one guest tonight, two guests, but we have got three guests, and oh dear me, it was definitely worth the wait to see this one. Yes, I'm talking about an international superstar with a supergroup in the 70s. They were legends, and they still are held very dear in people's hearts. Jay Osmond is bringing his new musical, The Osmonds, based on the life of him and his family, to Manchester. We definitely can't wait for this one, and I caught up with him a little bit earlier this week to tell us all about it. Now, do you know what? I've had lots of people with me in the Hive, all right, but I haven't had somebody just like a superstar like you are, Jay. Honestly,
Thank
the
you.
Osmonds, you were and still are fantastic. What a super
Thank
group.
you. I appreciate that. What a nice thing to say. That makes me happy. It's been an interesting journey with my family in this wonderful business, and I've just put out a brand new musical that I'm so thrilled about, and a lot of it takes place within the UK. And
we're so thrilled about it too, Jay, honestly. And you said a lot of it takes place in the UK. I mean, we took you, as many others did, to our hearts. Osmond Mania was just like, it was a crazy time.
It really was. It was what I call the whirlwind for our family of the 70s. It was just, wow, it was just crazy, like you put it. And so I've tried to put that into a painting, a story form, where people can understand what we went through as a family, as individuals and as a group. You know, we have this thing in our family, all for one and one for all in our family. And we were there for each other as a band of brothers. We started out in 1963, where Walt Disney discovered us, and then we went to Andy Williams' show, and then Jerry Lewis, and then all of a sudden the 70s hit. And when we came over in 1971 and landed at Heathrow, we weren't ready for that kind of response. It was just like overwhelming, and we just felt such a love from the people here and the UK. And I think I've been back to the UK twice a year since 1971. It's our second home, and it is for me. And I just love the people here.
And is that one of the things that made you want to kind of premiere the Osmonds, a new musical, here in the UK?
Yes, that is. If I think that is the reason. I don't know. It starts out with there's a wonderful person who plays Wendy from Manchester in our play, and she writes the sweetest letter, and she represents many of these wonderful fans who have become friends. And over the years, it shows how she grows through our development as we get older. And I'm not going to give the musical away, but it is so, Manchester in particular has such a big history with our family. It was the most difficult part in these last 5 years was putting together, how do you take 30 songs or so, and then in 50 years of show business and put it together into 2 hours, that was the hardest part.
That is really difficult to try and do that. And what I was thinking as well, it must be quite weird having to cast somebody as you, Jay.
Yeah, it really was.
What was that like?
You know what? For everybody else, it was very difficult, except for me. the guy who plays me, Alex Lodge, he came in at the very first when Andy Lloyd Webber's producers got on board. He was the very first one that auditioned for the role of Jay in the workshop 3 years ago. And I saw him instantly, and it was like looking in a mirror. And I told the producers, I says, we don't need to cast. And they says, what do you mean? We've got to go through all the whole casting process. I says, well, that's fine, but not for me. We found him. And
That's amazing.
It's that quick. And he's doing such a wonderful job. And everybody in the musical is doing wonderful. The hardest one was, I think, to cast my father, because he was the most difficult because he's such a good man. He's so strict and yet he's got a tender side to him that both sides need to come out, and so that was the most difficult. And Charlie hit it right on. His name's Charlie. He hit it right on the head. And I'm so pleased because there are situations in this musical that people don't know what we went through as a family. And the fun part is to not only see people come back and say, you took me back when I was 15 years old, but it's also fun to see the young people come up and say, wow, I love your new music.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah. He says, wow, I love your stories. They made me cry and made me laugh. And I thought, well, that's all what I was hoping.
Because you've now opened the musical, and it must be great to get finally that response, like you say, from the crowds. And I have seen some of their responses. They are loving this one, Jay.
I'm so thrilled. I'm overly joyed about it. I mean, to tell you, I'll be up front, I had some anxiety before this opened, because I was thinking, how are people going to accept this? And are they we had a lot of tests about it, and people were very positive. But I thought, you never know until it actually happens. And so I've just been amazed of the people that have, and the things that have been said about it. And I go, wow, I was hoping, because I want people to leave there lifted and excited, and more importantly, I want them to feel hope that they can overcome any obstacle in their life, and to see us go through those hardships. And as we, as a family, how we had to individually and collectively had to deal with those.
And this all came about through your memoir, didn't it? Because, getting to a point in your life where you kind of write your memoir, but now, did it feel like the right time to make this into a musical?
It really did. And we've been approached, each one of us and our family have been approached at times to do musicals about us. And I know a couple movies have been made on television about us, but this particular genre is something we have never tackled. Now, I know Donnie and Marie have done Broadway before and that kind of thing, but never have we've written and produced and, put a theatrical thing about our life on stage. And so it was, to be upfront, it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life. And I've done some pretty hard things, but this was hard. But I'm so happy how it turned out and how people were responding, and
it's so good. And it must be emotional for you to watch this now on stage, not only because, this is your baby, but this is your life. Yeah.
Yes. It was kind of weird, though, to see your life being acted out on stage, even though you put all the writing into it, but to see it actually portrayed on stage, it's just, wow, it's overwhelming. And to see people laugh at the right times and cry at the right times, and then stand up and cheer and dance and sing at the right time. I thought, oh, I love that, because
absolutely. And what's your favorite bit then, Jay? Because obviously there must be a moment in that where you go, I love this bit, and it actually brings me back to that time when I was there doing this.
Oh, that's a good question. I've wondered, what is my favorite part of this show? And I've tried to put my finger on it, and I can't do it, because every part plays a critical piece in the puzzle. And there are favorite times, there were hard times. Someone asked me what my highlight of my career was, and I says, when the lowest part of our career happened, and I saw my family bond together like this, and like a band of brothers, and so that was like the highlight. But how do you and yet there were some great successful moments, and I remember one time when Paul McCartney came to our hotel with his little daughters, Heather and Marion, to get our autograph. And I'm going, that was like a highlight, I go, that was unbelievable. But the highlight really was when I saw my brothers at the lowest part of our time, and yet how we helped each other through. And I think this is the theme of that thing, is how we take these obstacles and we work them through as a family. And people, they won't know there's some things in there that are very tough in this play. But to see how we overcome them is what I want to have. I wanted to put that through across, and to see people crying at those right moments, and just come up to me and say, that your music helped me through when I was at the darkest time in my life. Boy, those are things that really mean a lot to me.
We are so excited. I've got to say, we are so excited to see it here in Manchester. I know we've got to wait a little bit longer. It's like, I keep watching the trailers, Jay, and going, this is coming.
Well, I think it's August 9th through the 13th in the Palace Theater, I think.
It sure is. Yeah, absolutely. Are we going to get to see you come to Manchester for it, Jay?
I sure am planning on it. And we've been to every show. We're planning to be most shows. And so we actually, I think we have a fan event going on in Manchester for, a big event going on in Manchester right around that time. So yes, we will be there.
Oh, that is brilliant, because I would love to meet you in person. I
would love to meet you.
It's going to be fantastic, because Manchester loves you just as much as you love the city. And I love the fact that Wendy makes an appearance in the show. This is brilliant, really fantastic. Hey, if Wendy gets ill on opening night in Manchester, Michelle here could be Wendy for you, Well, that's all I'm saying, Jay.
I love it. You could be her, what do you call it?
Understudy.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I'm on it. I'm on it there. That's it. I'm going to be in the run, Jay. I really am.
I love it, Michelle. Okay.
I will have a good old Manchester brew waiting for you. And I'm sure there will be so much of Osmond mania coming to our city in August when the Osmonds new musical comes. So thank you so much for bringing it back.
Oh, I look forward to meeting you, and I hope you enjoy the show.
I will do. I cannot wait. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon, Jay.
See you at the Palace Theater.
Oh, such a lovely man. How sweet and humble was he? And so down to earth. This is a musical legend here with Jay Osmond. And I could have talked to him for absolutely ages. I'm really excited to see the Osmonds, the new musical, when it comes to Manchester. Not long to wait, so do make sure that you make a note of that in your diaries. It's coming in August to the Palace Theatre. And hey, I could be on stage with them too. I'm going to keep him to the fact that if Wendy goes ill, Michelle is going to be on that stage. You never know. Dreams might come true, guys. Hey, you heard it here first. Well, I hope you've had fun this evening. I certainly have. I've had some great guests. Big thanks to Nigel Havers, the cast of the Jersey Boys, and of course the wonderful Jay Osmond. And I think it's only fitting to finish tonight's show with an exclusive performance from the cast of the Osmonds, the new musical. And have they got a classic for us? It is the one, the only Puppy Love. Enjoy this, and I'll see you next week.
They called it puppy love. Oh, I guess they'll never know how a young heart really feels, and why I love her so. And they called it puppy love. help me, help me, help me, please. Is the answer up above? And how can I, oh how can I tell them this is not a puppy love? And someone help me, help me, help me please. Is the answer up above? How can I, oh how can I tell them this is not a puppy love?